Welcome and please be seated. Wow, is this a joyous, joyous moment to have all of us actually gathered in 3 dimensions at an analog commencement. It's a triumph after the last 2.5 years. So, welcome to the 156th commencement of Bates College. Whether you're joining us here in person on our historic quad or by live stream from across the country and around the world, we are delighted to have you with us on this picture-perfect day. This is the moment when we gather to celebrate the accomplishments and aspirations of the class of 2022, a class whose college experience has been divided between the pre-pandemic before times, followed by pandemic mode beginning in March of your sophomore year, and I hope maybe the last 3.5 weeks of seemingly post-pandemic times, even though it kept sneaking in there a little bit. So I would like everyone to take a moment to send up a cheer of appreciation for the determination and flexibility these graduating seniors have shown in getting to this point. Seniors, let us also join together to offer our appreciation to all of your wonderfully supportive families, friends, and loved ones here and spread across the globe, and for the faculty and staff who, in the constant change and adaptation of the past 2+ years, have been behind you, supporting and encouraging you every step of the way. Thank you. Members of the class of 22, you are a remarkably accomplished group. 498 of you will march across the stage this morning, representing 39 states, 40 countries, the U.S. territories, and the District of Columbia. 12% of you are the first in your family to graduate from college. You have knit this campus and community together over the past 4 years through your engagement and leadership as RCs and JAs, club presidents, members of student government, debaters, and team captains and participants in athletics. You have inspired us with your gifts of music, performance, art making, and intellectual pursuits. You have served as OIE Multi-Faith Admission and Purposeful Work Fellows, as eco-reps and Bonner leaders, and so much more. 8% of you have studied abroad, not nearly as many as who might have liked to, thanks to the pandemic. 127 of you are double majors, and 1 of you is a triple major. 35 of you received departmental honors for a year-long thesis, and 1 of you received honors in 2 disciplines. 40% of you have participated in a varsity sport while at Bates, many winning all NASCAC and all America honors, and 1 team winning the national championship. NASCAC championship, sorry. But it's only a matter of time till we do the latter. 10 of you have won Fulbright fellowships, and 1 of you has won a Watson fellowship. All of this you have achieved while also giving back, especially here in Lewiston, where your research helped garner millions of dollars for safe and affordable housing. Your music, theater, and dance performances kept Art Walk LA alive during the pandemic, and your countless hours of mentoring, tutoring, and classroom support were a lifeline for the community's children and youth. Along the way, I know that you've learned things in your classes, from your professors, and from one another. And over the past 2 years and counting, the world has taught us all lessons that have been hard to learn, but carry important messages nonetheless. In an essay reflecting on the 30th anniversary of her 1985 novel, The Handmaid's Tale, author Margaret Atwood shared that when she starts writing a new book, she always makes a chart of the age of her characters in relation to world events. She does this, she says, because in her words, Our personal histories interact with what's going on in the world outside us. She illustrates this exercise with her own life, explaining, again, her words, that she was born in November 1939, just after the beginning of the Second World War. That means I am of the generation that remembers Hitler and Stalin and not just from history books. In 1949, when I was 10, I thus read George Orwell's 1984 when it came out in paperback. I was 15 in 1955 when Elvis made his TV debut, and so on. On one hand, it seems blindingly obvious that our personal histories would interact with what's going on in the outside world. On the other hand, I don't think it is typical, necessarily, for the link between one's own life and world events to be front of mind as you move through college, where who your friends are, how your classes are going, what activities you're spending your time on, and what you're looking to do when you graduate tend to loom as more pressing concerns. Yet for you, the class of 2022, outside events have intruded insistently and persistently into every dimension of your college experience since the spring of your sophomore year. One only need conjure up Josh McIntosh's steady stream of updates to be reminded about how COVID has evolved over the past 2 years to dictate the most basic routines of college life. We've also had daily lessons through the news and for some through all too frequent and familiar personal experiences of the pervasive racism and racially motivated violence in this country. And we have seen firsthand that globalism means more than the ease of travel and the free flow of goods and services. Thanks to a pathogen that does not respect national borders, the latest wanton and unprovoked war on a sovereign state, and the mounting effects of climate change, we have learned the hard way that our fates are intertwined with those of nearly 8 billion fellow humans and the entire natural world on this small and overtaxed planet we inhabit together. You, the class of 2022, are indeed coming of age in the midst of major world events. You have had more than your share of disruptions and challenges, and it would be easy to focus on what you may have missed in your college experience. I urge you, however, to think about what you may have gained already and may continue to stay with you. Given the nature of your 4 years here, I hope that you will approach the choices you make about what you do next and how you plan to move through the world more consciously and intentionally than a typical graduating senior. I've noticed, for example, that you already seem to be particularly attuned to taking care of one another, and you often stop to gauge the impact of your words and actions on those around you. We like to think that every class graduating from Bates feels a special bond, but there will always be something extra special about the classes of the past several years with all that you have been through together and the trust you have placed in each other and in the college. Your flexibility, your perseverance, and your solid efforts most of the time to follow constantly changing public health guidelines have allowed us to keep the college open and your lives moving forward in the face of some pretty high hurdles. At its core, a liberal arts education prizes the connections not only among fields of knowledge and ways of knowing, but also between knowledge and values. It asks us to invest in the lives of other and the world we walk through together. At its best, the education we offer is not merely the accumulation of expertise and skills, but the cultivation of the ability to enter imaginatively into the lives of others so that we will act in the world based on a vivid and informed sense of our common humanity. Our ceremony today is all about recognizing the qualifications you have earned. You will be granted, in a little while, a document certifying that you have met all the requirements of the Bates degree. This is a huge accomplishment, and we are all so very proud of you. But But I also want to lift up and recognize these other gifts: the broadened perspective, the early wisdom, and the deepened empathy that will be your superpowers as you venture forth to make the world a better place. Please join me in congratulating the amazing class of 2022. While we gather to celebrate the achievement of the members of our class of 2022, we also mark the Memorial Day holiday. In honor of the many who have served and sacrificed so much, we express our gratitude. It is now my pleasure to welcome Teresa Chico, selected as the Class of 2022 Senior Speaker.
Hello, everyone, and congratulations to the class of 2022. Look at us, we made it. Some of us are releasing a huge sigh of relief thinking, finally, and others of us are wondering where the time has gone. And then there are those of us, like me, who are split in between the two feelings. Part of me feels like just yesterday it was move-in day. We were all running around, excited and nervous for what the next 4 years would bring. My family beat me to Parker and had half my room unpacked by the time I walked in. A few days later, they sent us off to the middle of nowhere for ASOP trips. If you were on my trip, you know the bugs, the forest, the camping, and the canoeing brought out the most sarcastic and difficult parts of me, a true city girl. Sorry about that. But 5 straight meals of peanut butter and jelly tortilla sandwiches would do that to a person. The next 4 years felt equally as slow as they did fast. Class, commons, work, and repeat. The sleepless nights completing assignments you probably should have started days before. The days before where you spent way too long in commons with your friends. The laughter, the tears. Then March 2020, when COVID sent us home, and we had to focus on school while the whole world was struggling through the unknown. Then the following year, we lived amongst each other while supporting one another through the fear of not knowing where COVID would take us next. All the while, there were the intrusive thoughts that maybe we would never make it to this day. But here we are. Throughout my time at Bates, I became kind of a plant person. I have a pretty cute collection of plants, and they range in size, but most of them are small. And to be honest, some of them have passed away because I'm still more at the stage where I think I have a green thumb, but I'm not quite at the point where I can really take care of plants all that well. But anyways, I have these 2 plants. One of them is the pothos plant. It's a member of the philodendron family, and it grows fairly quickly. It's one of those beautiful indoor plants that grows really long and hangs off the sides of things. It's also one of the hardest plants to kill. You can overwater it, underwater it, put it in a place that doesn't really get that much light, and it would still manage to grow and make you feel like you should become the director of botanical gardens. It basically takes care of itself. I have this other plant, the Chinese money plant, and it is so dramatic. If I leave it in the sun for too long, it gets burn spots on the leaves. If I leave it out of the sun, the leaves droop down and they look all sad. There's only so many places you can try moving your plant in a college dorm room. I water it and it acts happy for like an hour, and then I'll come back from class and it looks like it lost 1,000 little leaves. It's mostly frustrating because I found this plant on one of the websites that's like top 10 easiest indoor plants to take care of. And for a long time, this was my least favorite plant. I thought about getting rid of it, giving it away to someone who was actually good at taking care of plants. But then one day, I looked at this super dramatic, difficult plant, and I thought, wow, that's the plant that reflects me the most. And it's not just because I'm super dramatic. See, for a while, I thought I was most like the pothos plant. College is hard enough for everyone. Like so many first-generation students and people of color, I put this insurmountable amount of pressure on myself, and I thought I owed it to my family and everyone around me to be perfect. To be the perfect student and prove to myself and everyone else that I belong at a place like Bates. I came to Bates thinking I would major in biology and become a doctor, a story that my family was proud to share with the rest of our family. Long story short, beyond the 18 seasons of Grey's Anatomy that I've seen, I had no interest in becoming a doctor. But I thought, just like the pothos plant, it wouldn't matter in the end. I would still be able to grow and become successful from that journey. I was really closed off, and I had this crazy standard for myself that was really stressful and overwhelming. But like the pothos plant, I thought I would just take care of myself for these next 4 years. I was lucky to be here, and I would make the most of it. No water or sunlight required. I took Professor Nero's course, White Redemption, cross-listed in Africana and Rhetoric, Film, and Screen Studies, my second semester of freshman year, and I immediately knew that I found my majors. And going from telling my family that I would be a doctor to I'm studying movies and I have no idea what I'm going to do with that was probably the scariest thing I've ever done. And even if they didn't quite understand my major, they were as supportive as they knew how to be. But the next 3 years were full of unplanting these seeds of doubt in my head and letting people in. I had to learn to believe in myself, but I also had to learn that it was okay to ask for help. Like the Chinese money plant, I had days where I was drooping, feeling defeated. But it was on those hard days that my professors watered me with their knowledge and support. They reminded me through their encouragement and belief in me that I should believe in myself. And my wonderful and amazing friends and family who provided me with enough sunshine to last a lifetime through their kindness and the joy that they give. These people made me finally realize that I'm not just lucky to be at Bates. I belong here. We all grew during these last 4 years. It's almost impossible to go through an experience like this and leave the other side completely unfazed. In the next chapters of our lives, we will continue to grow and change. But it's crucial for us to remember that people are not meant to be like pothos plants. Be gentle with yourself. Take the time to water yourself and figure out what it is you need to feel like the best version of you. Don't be afraid to let other people grab the watering can when you're burnt out and you need help. Growth is not a linear journey, and it's definitely a challenge. Each and every one of us here today has had a different path to growth throughout their time here, and you will continue on that special path following your time at Bates. I'm wishing you all the best of luck in your next chapters. To all my fellow BIPOC students who are graduating today, please remember that you belong here just as much as anyone else, and keep believing in yourself wherever you may go. As a film major, it would be remiss of me not to leave you all with a quote from the lovely Shonda Rhimes. I am not lucky. You know what I am? I am smart, I am talented, I take advantage of the opportunities that come my way, and I work really, really hard. Don't call me lucky. Call me a badass. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. We are joined today by 4 extraordinary individuals with whom our graduates will share the distinction of a Bates degree. It is now my privilege to confer the honorary degrees for the 156th commencement of Bates College. I invite Malcolm Hill, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty, to join me for the presentation of the honorands.
President Spencer, I present Michael W. Bonney. No account of Bates's recent history can be told without our first honorand. If the story of Bates were a novel, there would be a Bonney or a Bonney relative in virtually every chapter. From 1927 to 1950 to 1980 and 81, onward to 2009, 2012, and 2015, our guest and his wife Allison and many other members of the family besides have been central figures in the Bates story for almost a century. If the story of Bates were a movie, our honorand would win Oscars for both leading and supporting roles all at once. He served on the Bates Board of Trustees for 17 years, including 9 as its chair, charting an ambitious course for the college and leading it through a presidential transition and the launch of its largest ever fundraising campaign, all while transforming the governance practices of the board itself. Along with the other Bonnies of Bates, he has been an exceedingly generous supporter of the college through the Bonney Family Foundation. If the story of Bates were a tapestry, his threads would be woven throughout, not only across time in the many generations of Bonnies at Bates, but in the John E. Kelsey and Stella James Sims professorships that recognize outstanding Bates faculty, in the Catalyst Fund, which supports innovation and experimentation, and in his service as co-chair of the Bates campaign, which will touch every aspect of the Bates experience and strengthen the Bates endowment for generations to come. And if the story of Bates were a blueprint, its focal point would be Bates's newest landmark, the stunning Bonney Science Center, a transformative space for teaching and discovery in science and beyond. However we tell it, the story of Bates is full of Bonnies, but our honorand story neither begins nor ends on this campus. He has distinguished himself as one of the leaders of American biotechnology, serving for over a decade as CEO and director of Cubist Pharmaceuticals, steering it to the top of the industry, including the most successful U.S. launch ever of an intravenous antibiotic, Cubicin, to fight methicillin-resistant infections. Today, he is executive director of Analim Pharmaceuticals, the world's leading gene silencing company, vice chair of the Gulf of Maine Research Institute, and trustee of the global environmental nonprofit RARE. He has won numerous awards for his work in biotechnology, but he says he is proudest of the work he has done to support the next generation of leaders in science, for the many ways such work has been made manifest here, for making Bates so central to his own story, and for his steadfast commitment to this place and its people. We are eternally grateful. I present Michael W. Bonney for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
Whenever and however we tell your story, we tell it with gratitude and pride. We know what the college means to you, and we only hope that you know how much you mean to us. Thank you. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. I promise I'll get you yours, students.
President Spencer, I present Nikki Giovanni.
Right.
Our next honorand might fairly be called the poet of possibility. Even when she is describing the too often oppressive and unjust realities of the Black experience, her poetry possesses a singular spirit of openness to what could and should be. From Black Feeling, Black Talk in 1968 through Make Me Rain in 2020, she reminds her readers of the potential within ourselves, in our relationship to one another, and in our communities. As an undergraduate at Fisk University, amid the birth of the Black arts movement, she discovered new possibilities in the intersections of art and politics and identity. Soon after she graduated in 1967, her poems were first shared with the world with the publication of Black Feeling, Black Talk. She self-published the book, saying later that she had decided to take her poetry to the people, and if they rejected it, that would be that. They did not reject it. They embraced it, purchasing 2,000 copies of the stapled together volume in just a few months. Black Feeling, Black Talk was soon followed by the similarly self-published Black Judgment, and in 1970, the publisher William Morrow released both texts together. She continued to expand her sense of possible over decades of artistic production and exploration, and is today widely considered to be one of the foremost American poets of the 20th century. Along with Gwendolyn Brooks, James Baldwin, Amiri Baraka, and others, she is also one of the leading voices of the Black arts movement. She is frequently praised for having addressed her work not just to those leading the civil rights movement, but to ordinary readers as well. She has taught at Virginia Tech since 1987 and has held the title of University Distinguished Professor since 1999. And when her university community suffered unthinkable loss at the hands of a student with a gun in 2007, it looked to her for words of hope and healing. As she honored their grief and their unity in recovering, she also acknowledged that all members of the community shared a need for growth. "We are better than we think," she said, "and not quite what we want to be. We are alive to the imagination and the possibility we will continue to invent the future through our blood and tears through all this sadness." I present Nikki Giovanni for the degree Doctor of Letters.
Your genius is the gift of the possible, and the light you shine illuminates not just our battles and burdens, but our greatest joys, our deepest loves, our highest selves. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Doctor of Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining.
President Spencer, I present Becca Stevens. There is a famous poem by Robert Frost in which a husband and wife debate the meaning of home. One argues that a home is a place that has no choice but to take you in, while the other says it is more of a place where you don't have to do anything to deserve entry. Our next guest would seem to take that latter position. She's an author, a longtime campus chaplain at Vanderbilt University, and a champion for women stuck in systems of abuse and oppression. She has devoted her life to the idea of home as a need and a right, creating space for those without anchor, without shelter, without support, without hope. She has understood from an early age what it can mean to experience trauma and the loss of a sure footing in the world. After her father was killed by a drunk driver when she was just 5 years old, she watched her mother struggle to keep the family together. It was through her mother, she says, that she came to understand the many ways, large and small, and sometimes life-changing, that love can be shown by attending to the practical needs of others. In her recent book, Practically Divine, she writes that sanctuary is the most practical ideal of all. The notion that what people who have suffered abuse, trafficking, prostitution, and addiction need most is a place to live free of charge and free of restrictive authority is what inspired her to establish Thistle Farms in 1997 as a single home for 5 women. From there, she extended the idea of sanctuary to include job training, healthcare, case management, and employment. Today, from these first 5 beds in one small house, Thistle Farms comprises 6 residences in Nashville and a national network of organizations that provide similar services and sanctuaries across the country, including Lewiston's own Center for Wisdom's Women and Sophia's House. She was named a 2016 CNN Hero, a 2014 Humanitarian of the Year by the Small Business Council of America, and a 2011 Champion of Change by the Obama White House. As she manages the many calls upon her time, our guest says that she doesn't necessarily aim for balance, but focuses on simply taking the next right step. In the homes she has created, in the doors she has opened, she has helped countless others do the same. I present Becca Stevens for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
Like the thistle that is the emblem of your work, you have grown deep roots and helped others attain the groundedness they need to recover, revive, and flourish. You have shown us all the truest meaning of sanctuary and its greatest power. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. May I just go back a second and ask Malcolm to find the conferral section of Michael Bonney's degree. And Michael, can I get you to come back up and let me give you your degree properly? Thank you, before we get to our last honorand.
Yeah, do it right.
So,
You want me to go from I present?
no, I can do it. So, Michael, if you can stand on the H, perfect. There's an H for honorand up here, okay. So I'm going to do this again and correctly. Your genius is a gift of the possible. Wait a minute. Wrong one, sorry. Okay. All right. I just need to take a minute and regroup. Whenever and however we tell your story, we tell it with gratitude and pride. We know what this college means to you, and we only hope that you know how very much you mean to us. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. All right, now let me make sure I get to the right page here.
President Spencer, I present Nirav Shah. Were our graduates ever to see compelling evidence of the value of a broad and rigorous education, they need look no further than our final honorand and speaker today. As an undergraduate at the University of Louisville, he double majored in biology and psychology. He went on to study economics at Oxford University before earning law and medical degrees from the University of Chicago. After stints as an economist in the National Institute for Public Health in Cambodia, as an attorney in private practice focused on healthcare and life sciences, and as the director of the Illinois Department of Public Health. He arrived in Maine in the summer of 2019, a few scant months before a global pandemic emerged to upend our world for 2 years and counting. As the director of the Maine Center for Disease Control throughout COVID-19, he has been our calm and sure-footed guide through uncharted territory, a stunningly clear and precise communicator, and a steady and reliable presence in our daily lives. Trained as an epidemiologist, he has helped us understand the ever-changing landscape of the virus while encouraging us to take the steps within our power to protect ourselves and others. He understands that COVID is not just a matter of contagion and transmission. It is also a challenge to our social structures and systems of meaning. His powerful intellect and profound humanity have made him the ideal leader for this moment in Maine. He is direct and unflappable. He explains complex issues in simple terms that can be understood by all, and he is unfailingly respectful of the trust the public places in him. He is not just our doctor in chief, he is our counselor, philosopher, and sage. I present Nirav D. Shah for the degree Doctor of Science.
An icon of the pandemic era in Maine, you have given us guidance, humor, and hope, all while making puns and quoting song lyrics, perfect for every occasion. The 39,000 members of the Fans of Dr. Nirav Shah Facebook group cannot be wrong. All we've really had to do in Maine these past 2 years is keep calm and listen to Dr. Shah. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Doctor of Science with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Thank you.
Greetings, Earthlings. I feel like we should start a day of celebration by doing something celebratory, which is taking a selfie. So if I could ask everyone to stand up for a second and stretch, and while we're doing that, I'm going to cue up my phone to take the Bates College commencement selfie. Does that sound good? All right, let's do that. All right, let's see if this works. Think we got it? Okay. Very good. You all looked great. I'm going to put that on Twitter later. If you don't want to be on Twitter, let me know now. I'll blur out your face. Thank you so much, President Spencer. It is such an honor to be part of Bates's 156th commencement and join you, the faculty, the staff, the parents, and the random old people who come to these things as we celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2022. Especially this year, the first normal commencement ceremony since 2019. I don't know what happened during those intervening years. Some guy must have suggested that you change things around. What a jerk. Also very grateful, President Spencer, that you and the Board of Trustees have chosen to award me a Doctor of Science degree. That is extremely meaningful, and I'm very excited to start putting that to use. It's also such a pleasure to share the stage today with the other Bates honorands whom you just heard about. Now, graduates, none of you will remember this speech, which frankly takes a lot of pressure off of me. The thing is, we all like to think that we got here on our own. But in reality, none of us gets to where we are on our own. When I graduated from college, I thought I had it all figured out. I was independent. I was a one-man wolf pack. But the truth is, I was basically a house cat, completely dependent on others, yet fully convinced of my own independence. We all have someone here today who helped us along the way. So I want to take a moment to recognize the parents and family members of the graduates who are here today. A big round of applause for them. Graduates, I ask that you also thank them for supporting you for the past 4 years. And also remember that commencements are a lot like weddings. They go on for a long time, but they're pretty much for your family. Now, many parents in the audience today, especially if they're not residents of Maine, are looking at me right now wondering the same thing. Who is this guy? Why is he here? Was the travel budget for commencement speakers cut? The best they could do is a guy from down the street? Well, just remember, if you like what I have to say today, my name is Nirav Shah. if you don't like what I have to say today, just remember that my name is Sanjay Gupta. Many months ago, when President Spencer asked me to deliver this year's commencement address, I pledged that I would take the honor seriously and commit to the careful craft of writing a speech in the same manner that many of the graduates committed to your senior thesis or your capstone project. So, last night, after downing a bunch of Red Bulls and literally reaching the end of Twitter, I started writing. I looked at the list of prior Bates Commencement speakers. Coretta Scott King, may she rest in peace. Former Maine Senator Margaret Chase Smith, may she rest in peace. Anti-apartheid leader Bishop Desmond Tutu, may he rest in peace. Renowned physicist Freeman Dyson, may he rest in peace. Civil rights icon, the Representative John Lewis, may he rest in peace. When I looked at that list, my first thought was, man, why do all the preceding Bates Commencement speakers end up dead? What is up with that? There is an uncanny correlation between speaking at the Bates Commencement and then dying 30 to 50 years later. I need to have an epidemiologist at the Maine CDC look at this, because if there's one thing I've learned during the pandemic, it's that correlation always equals causation. Now, it's very meaningful being here with everyone today. It was 3 years ago, almost to the day, that my father died. He had a progressive illness, so his death, while painful, was not unexpected. I think he would have liked Maine. The mountains, the ocean, the solitude. One of my regrets is that he never got to see Maine, and he never got to know the Maine that my family and I have come to know, to love. He would have enjoyed being here today, too. Seeing all of you graduate, hearing me speak with you, it would have made him proud. Just like many of you, my dad came a long way. He went from picking mangoes in rural India to medical school. When he came to the US in the 1970s, he worked as a busboy at the Gold Coin restaurant in Chicago while he studied for his exams. And on the day he passed his exams, he walked into work and sat down at a table. His boss barked at him and asked him why he wasn't working. My dad replied proudly that he was a doctor now, and he wanted a cup of coffee. One of my life's privileges was to spend the last 5 months of his life with him and my mother down in Houston, Texas. And one day, while driving back from a medical appointment, my dad and I were stuck in traffic. And above us was a burned out old railway bridge over the interstate. And on that bridge, there was graffiti. It wasn't just everyday graffiti, though. It was graffiti with meaning. There, on the rusted metal, someone had spray painted 2 words. The 2 words that were elegant in their simplicity, compelling in their directness, and poetic in their brevity. 2 words that struck me and have stuck with me, and that I've spent the last 3 years thinking about. Be someone. Be someone. That's it. 2 words that capture how my dad lived his life, how I try to live my life, and how today I'd like to urge you how to live your own lives. Now, like any good poetry, as Ms. Giovanni could tell us, the phrase admits many interpretations. Are you supposed to be someone? Are you supposed to be someone? Today, I offer you 3 ways that my father exemplified those words: through humility, through humanity, and through humor. Let's start with humility, which is at the heart of being someone. For me, humility comes down to saying the 3 hardest words in the English language. I don't know. The thing is, I used to think that being intelligent, being someone, involved having all the answers. Not just some of the answers, all of the answers. This had a few implications. It led me to think that intelligence came from accumulating the largest warehouse of knowledge, of minutia, of trivia. For me, being smart, for being someone, was like having the only pin at a balloon party. An achievement consisted of walking around, popping everyone else's balloons. Frankly, this approach led me to being tremendously unlikable. I really should have changed my middle name to, well, actually. The thing is, and what I've learned is that in the face of a global pandemic, no one has a monopoly on knowledge or expertise. And yet, so many are so reluctant to say that they just don't know the answer to something. Instead, they just talk. Please, graduates, don't do that. If someone asks you what time it is, do not tell them how to build a clock. If you don't know what time it is, just tell them that. The second quality of being someone that my father exemplified was humanity. I always marveled at his ability to communicate with people who had an entirely different worldview from him. Rather than dismissing those who asked him skeptical questions, he treated them with humanity. COVID has brought the challenges of misinformation to the forefront. And when we think about things like life-saving vaccines, the stakes are literally life and death. But here's the problem. We often treat skeptics like a high school debater would. We rattle off a litany of reasons why they're wrong, and we try to pop as many of their balloons as possible with our pen. The thing is, in the history of recorded thought, not a single mind has ever been changed via that approach. Even worse, we sometimes condescend those who question whether COVID-19 vaccines are effective. We treat those with different beliefs not just as incorrect, but as ignorant. And we wrongly dehumanize them and anyone who doesn't see the world our way. Graduates, please, don't do that. I've been asked numerous times how I know that the COVID-19 vaccines are effective. After all, I didn't perform the studies myself, so how can I know that the vaccines are doing their job? Well, rather than overwhelming the skeptic with a bunch of journal articles or dismissing them outright, I'm honest with them. I know that the vaccines work because I am part of a chain of trust with the people who have concluded so. Scientists, physicians, statisticians. I trust the ultimate conclusion because I trust each of the links in the chain. But skeptics are often part of a different chain of trust. A chain whose links comprise lived experiences and relationships, not necessarily data published in scientific journals. And those skeptics are susceptible to misinformation because they don't belong to the same chain of trust that scientists, that many of us do. So what to do about this? Well, the first is don't dehumanize those who disagree. Rather, recognize that their skepticism may stem from being part of a different chain of trust. And second, be someone. Be someone who builds trust. Ask them why they believe what they do and what evidence might change their mind. The thing is this: trust happens one conversation at a time. It's like a bank account, and you have to make multiple deposits into the account before you can start making withdrawals. Now, as my dad saw it, the third quality of being someone was humor. It's a quality he kept with him through the end. He learned his English language sense of humor from an old TV show called MASH, something your parents probably watched. Watch. Hear, hear, yes. Applause for MASH. In fact, I was just chatting with my team about my favorite scene from MASH, describing war. I urge everyone to take a look at that. But MASH was a show about an Army field hospital during the Korean War. And I admired my dad's ability to bring humor into situations where I would have least expected to find it, even in the room of a dying and suffering patient and their family. My dad always found a way to lighten the heaviest of moods. That's important because you are allowed to laugh. These days, humor is considered fraught in some circles. The world is dark, and there are those who suggest that a well-timed joke is not always appropriate. I don't see it that way. Indeed, it's just the opposite. We need the levity that humor brings. Laughter during dark days doesn't diminish the weight of the shadows. It just makes them a little bit easier to bear. And that's because the human brain is a magnificent thing. We can be happy and sad at the same time. You can hold joy and grief in your hands at the exact same moment. Humor is what makes us human. And humor is important, especially now. When I think about each of you, you all came into consciousness while the world was still reeling from the attacks of 9/11, into a world punctuated by terrorism, unending gun violence, economic recessions, environmental catastrophe, and now a global pandemic. Tom Brokaw hailed the people who survived the Depression and World War II as the greatest generation, not for who they were, but for what they overcame. Now, I don't know what your generation will be called, but one thing is clear. The world has handed you much more than your share. Your generation has seen so much and responded with wit and creativity, righteous anger, and a determination to take the reality you've been given and make it better. Even through COVID, you managed to flourish under absurd circumstances. For many of you, junior year abroad turned into junior year abridged. A lot of that's my fault. Sorry about that. But your humility, your humanity, and your humor have helped you be someone who is about to graduate from Bates College. Now, many of you will go on to remarkable careers in business, arts, and government. The rest of you will become podcasters. But no matter where you go, what you do, you are likely to be one of the smartest people in any room that you're in. So the first thing you should do is find a bigger room. But the second thing is to remember the tools that Bates has given you. Bates has prepared you to choose to be anyone, anytime, in any place. But my ask of you is far simpler, that you choose to be someone. Choose to carry the qualities of humility, of humanity, and humor with you wherever you go next. Congratulations to the Bates College class of 2022. Thank you for having me today. Thank you for honoring me today. Thank you for humoring today. Go out there and be someone. Thank you.
Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The baccalaureate degrees for the class of 2022 will now be conferred. We request that friends and families withhold all applause until the entire list of graduating seniors has been called. We know this is an impossible request, but I want to remind you we've got 498 people whose names will be called. So if you can hold your applause and then we'll go crazy at the end, that would be great. And then as soon as, we'll hold your applause till the entire list has been called and until the senior class marshals have directed all members of the class to move the tassel from right to left, thereby signifying the confirmation of degrees.
Will the class stand? President Spencer, I have the honor to present those candidates before you and those others whose names appear on the program. They have been recommended by the faculty as having completed all appropriate academic requirements for the degree Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, and they present themselves to you for the confirmation of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer on you the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. You may be seated.
I will read the names in alphabetical order. Will the members of the class of 2022 please come forward to receive their diplomas?
Okay.
Sarah Catherine Abbott. Mohammed Abdullah. Audrey Josephine Aberg. Insha Afsar. Sean Luke Agrodnia. Benjamin Francis Aguilar. Eliana Ilias Alconsul. Salam Saeed Alderi. Taylor Michelle Alexander. Jason Joseph Alfondre. Lucas William Allen. Oliver Runkle Allen. Joseph Jacob Amiel. Douglas Richard Amaral. Jessica Amuk. Jamarai Isaias Amran. Cooper Zachary Andrews. Lauren Farrington Andrews. Kaharu Aoki. Mansip Tassin Arco. Kahindi Aruwaje. Natalie Delaney Bachman. Nathaniel Knight Badger. Nana Ankama Bafo. Laura Marie Baginski. Owen James Bailey. Oliver Orlando Barrera. Laseni Usain Berry. Way to go. Maxwell Isaiah Bartley. Elizabeth Grace Bauer. Ashton Joan Bale. Jenna Marie Beagle. Jasper DeStefano Beardsley. Jennifer Bobrin. Grace Marie Baudet. Cassidy Makina Babo. Amanda Mai Twee Becker. Eleanor Lorraine Gross Beckerman. Sarah Prelly Bennett. Maya Margaret Benziger. Ana Belen Bernhoff Gutierrez. Lauren James Barabee. Camden Eddie Bebro. David Bradley Bilbrey. Daniel Solomon Baleka. Zachary Ryan Berger. Aaliyah Jordan Black. Ryan Field Blakely. Emma Rose Polker Block. Juliet Linehan Brockhorst. Caitlin Alexandria Boham. Caleb Christian Bolden. Andrew Michael Botello. Jennifer Holland Bowles. Eleanor Alice Boyle. Stephen Michael Brackett Jr. Walter Lawless Braun. Cameron McDonald Brown. Jeremy Robert Bruce. Jack Donovan Bryant. Sean Daniel Bryant. Michael Gerald Bullman. Alexander Burbello. Riley Elizabeth Burns. Catherine Mackenzie Butler. Sydney Ann Burns. Samuel Cortland Cabot. Alexander A. Campbell. Christopher Michael Capo. Carolina Alexandra Carmona. Catherine Margaret Carrier. Emily Grace Carty. Jared Michael Castro. Parker Caswell. Maxwell Robert Cavallero. Baruch Zeleke Chafamo. Elaine Chamberlain. Nicholas Rohrbach Shard. McDoney Charles. Chen Chen. Jing Yi Chen. Teresa Luisa Chico. Isabella Wegner Child. Ian Jacob Christensen. Emma Isabel Christman. Lue Chi. Qua. Matthew Lee Clayton. Thomas Gunn Cochran. Sophie Elise Cohen. Samuel Lee Colesworthy. Charlotte Elizabeth Collins. Joseph Arthur Collins. Benjamin Myung Ho Connor. Finn Gideon Conway. Evan Shea Cook. Eddie Olivia Cooper. Mary Jacqueline Corcoran. William Hayes Corcoran. Peter Marcel Corey. Anthony John Costa. Brendan Christopher Costa. Thomas Sean Costin. Tess Kutu. Adrienne Rose Crawford. Charles Jeremiah Cronin. Larry Cruz. Kate Riley Curran. Ariana Trey Stalia. Mackenzie Daly. Isabel Grace Starling. Isabella David. Jackson Robert Davis. Jillian Yvonne Davis Oaks. Jose de Anda Jr. Hike Oliver Der Manuelian. Michelle Elise Descharlet. Millie Page Deedles. Emily Houghton Dewey. Adama Diaby. Jacob Robert DiMartini. Olivia Davidson Diamond. Taylor Renee Gian. Dylan Christian DiSuno. Thomas Paul Dodge. Anne Carolyn Doig. Enrique Valentin Dolores Gonzalez. Jackson Carl Donahue. Christopher Frazier Draper. Max Joseph Drury. Liza Wallace Dubinsky. Emily Claire Kathleen Duffy. Riley Campbell Dwight. Christopher James Dye. Sophia Edgar. Kieran Marius Edmonds. Caleb Kendall Eklund. Abriyami Lakshmi Elatum. Jackson Michael Elkins. Tara Rose Ellard. Johnny Michael Esposito. Garrett Stephen Evans. Hayden Evans. Liam Martin Evans. John Chenwith Everett. Ian Henry Fagan. Xavier Nye Falone. Reggie Regia Fan. Yeo Fan. John Richard Farrell. Hadi Ahmed Fatima. Catherine Crosley Faulkner. Julia Feist. Jonah Ben Feldman. Madeline Louise Feldmeyer. Isabel Leong Fenton. Ryan Michael Fissy. Alexa Monique Flores. Nicholas Christopher Florio. Margaret Rose Flynn. Peter Quentin Fordyce. Thomas Formas. Dana Abigail Foster. Martha Claire Fouché. Maximilian G. Freund. Jack Edward Frickty. Gabrielle Catherine Frugard. Brittany May Fuller. Robert Flint Fuller. Alexander Brody Gailey. Patrick Gallagher. Zoe Georgia Galati. Eleanor Armstrong Garnett. Alicia Modesta Garza. Mia Catherine Gates. Wilder Geyer. Diana Maria Georges. Priyanka Rajiv Gatalia. Emily Grace Giannunzio. Cecilia Graham Gishner. Alexandra Joan Gilbertson. Sarah Ann Gillis. Samuel P. Gilman. Darby Elizabeth Glenn. John Dylan Glenn. Myra Gomes Spencer. Brian Thomas Gotti. Ronan Ray Golden. Anna Nicole Govea. Abigail Grace Grauman. Emily Hope Grauman. Courtney Rose Gray. Anna Pearl Greenspan. James Paul Groover III. Virginia Elizabeth Guancy. Carla Charlotte Gichard. Samuel Michael Gutch. Jesse Ryan Hagee. Andrew Gregory Hall. Andreas Thomas Monk Hansen. Charles McLean Hansen. Henry Rylander Hardy. Maximilian Nicholas Robert Harford. Caroline Kate Harris. Jackson Seymour Hayes. Robert James Hanos. Rachel Eva Hazen. Liam Patrick Healy. Osceola Charles Hurd. Julia Noel Henderson. Dewi Tusadia Henry. Tusadia. Amalia Maria Heron LaHaye. Tess Louise Hick. Aiden Bly Hill. Thomas Aiden Hiscock. Juliana McConnell Hobbs. Grace Hale. Benjamin Theodore Hoffinger. Frederick Homan. Abby Lauren Holden. Jane Barkley Holmes. Isabel Ruth Honigman. Jack Scully Howard. Nishi Shiva Hulavaran. Clay Maxwell Hundermark. Cyan Hunt. Timothy Kamen Hunter. Connor Michael Hurley. Samatar Siad Iman. Amelia Blicky Ingersoll. Kennedy Oscar Ishii. Grant Sebastian Giuliano. Sebastian Chan Jolowiecki. Daphne Phelan James. Khalil Amari Jaina. Antonio Jarino Burgos. Jake Bradley Jenkins. Kynan Guy Jenkins. Julia Sarah Jesserum. Ashka Javeri. Tianxi Diao. Claudio Jimenez. Candace Hewat Johnson. Ethan Richard Johnson. Jack Raven Johnson. Lyndon William Jones. Natasha Elizabeth Jones. Kyle Kristen Jorgensen. Ray Brandon Joseph. Natasha Elizabeth Kalyuzniski. Braden Caress. Andrew David Carr. Amanda Rose Kaufman. Owen Thomas Kelleher. Casey Alexander Kellerman. Ashling Teresa Kelly. Liam Francis Kelly. J. Daniel Kim. Maxwell Soonjun Kim. Michelle Soojin Kim. Mina Kim. Lillian Dunham Kinder. Henry Stephen King. Elizabeth Claire Kissane. Kyung Phil Ko. Peter James Koningsbauer. Ashley Taylor Coman. Madeline Page Corby. Megan Rachel Krieger. Talia Feiger Kurlansky. Harkirat Singh Lally. Elise Marie Lambert. Anna Squires Landgren. Meredith Barry Lane. Megan Phyllis Lepar. Maximilian Johannes Lauster. Daniel Adam Leiserman. Chloe Annave Leong. Lila Faye Lesniak. Charles Michael Lewis. Jiao Li. Thomas John Linkus. Chloe India LaFaro. John Henry Loftus. Danielle Sean Logan. Catherine Elizabeth Laughlin. Jack Hayden Lusararian. Kevin Michael Lucy Jr. Thomas Luiselli. Maxwell Webster McAvoy. Sophie Farrell Mackin. Shenami Maji. Eric John Malm. Way to go. Lauren Angelique Mandy. Balin Sims Manocha. Catherine Ann Monternock. Blaise J. Marceau. Derek Marino. Sophia Ellen Murata. Esther Cornwall Martin. Anna Sophia Donnelly Massaro. Sophie Kemper Matt. Connor Michael McCoy. Charles Stephen McDonald. Maya Pierce McDonough. Caitlin Jessica McGlashan. Elizabeth McGrady. Suzanne McGrady. Eliza Susan McNulty. Owen Peter McShane. Taylor Marie McVeigh. Sarah Frances Merberg. Amanda Bryn Metzger. Imogen Rose Micklewhite. McKeon Thomas Midland. John Joseph Mishchansky. Abdul Wahab Mohammed. Amina Mohammed. Isabel Mohammadi Hall. Arya Mohanty. Thomas Carey Monahan. Nahida Moradi. Olivia Rose Mordeda da Silva. Michael George Morgan. Henry Mason Morjikian. Amelia Cooper Mountford. Mathieu Francois Moutou. Hale Campbell Smith Murch. Salam Adare Murphy. Adam Nasib Nadaf Slocum. Sophie Elizabeth Naherney. Haley Johanna Namond. Christopher Charles Nessel Jr. Owen Charles Newman. Catherine Grace Knuckles. Jackson Campbell Obelomia. Margaret Rossbrook O'Brien. Molly O'Brien. Christian Bogdan Oliveri. Stefano Tewan Opichi. Liam Alexander Orifici. Javon Marcel Ortiz Cedeno. William Lane Osher. Eugene Luke Pardillo Padayagdag. Aaliyah Pagan. Savine Pack. Helen Grace Pandy. Jared Samuel Pantaloni. Rachel Ann Parody. Seren Gabrielle Parikh. Sydney Ellen Paul. Oliver George Penner. Ralph Taylor Perkins. Alexia Nicole Perugini. James W. Peter. Peter Nicholas Philbin. Jasper Phillips. Sydney Phillips. Olivia Ann Piacentini. Elizabeth Marie Peasy. Celia Helen Plimsoll. Danielle Frances Polier. Clara Ann Soltero Porter. Noah Alexander Pott. Nolan Walker Potter. Samuel Peter Polus. Benjamin Robert Powell. Nicholas Harrison Prower. Robert Wesley Percival. Abigail Resch Quinn. Julia Brooke Raboy. Henry William Raff. Zainadine Rahabi. Pearson Keating Rambush. Eric Alejandro Ramos. Carly Ransford. Michael Noel Ratzenbas Safi. Abigail Arden Ravid. Anna Elaine Riemann. Simon Barlow Redfern. Danielle Jeanette Reeves. Jake Joseph Ressel. Rachel Ann Ratana. Maya Isabel Reynoso Williams. Nicholas Resnick. Catherine Goodman Richards. Mary Elizabeth Richardson. Peter Coburn Riley. Tara Rodick. Fernando Rojas. Hartman Ash Rorick. Alexander Hogan Rodeval. Mia Catherine Roy. Anna Rosen. Bartholomew Carver Rust. Susanna Nicole Reichman. Jonah Benjamin Sachs. Elias Bluestone Salaton. Evan Joseph Saltman. Gabrielle Carlisle Salvi. Emily H. Samar. Stella Santucci. Janelle Cabanilla Sato. Benjamin Raymond Schmont. George William Stump Scouten. Marguerite Francis Schuler. Gavin Edward Schurch. Georgina Fraser Scoville. Megan Claire Seabury. Luke Michael Cedar Prody. Jesse Joyce Segala. Christopher Palmer Seifert. Craig Michael Selbrady. Jackson Sell. Sanika Shah. Stevens Langley Shea. Yost Olan Sheehan. Ognan Ognyanov Semyonov. Lily Carol Simmons. Timothy Barry Simplicio. Olivia Margaret Skillings. Julia Erin Slane. Electra Hewitt Smicka. Avery August Smith. Griffin Doyle Smith. Andrew Davis Snoddy. Madeline Dagny Snyder. Robert Gustavo Rafael Soboleski. Zheng Yang So. Jesse Harry Solinger. Paige Thale Sonada. Stephen Alexander Sparks. Paul Cosmas Beliakos. Raheem Emil Spence. Quinn Alexandra Squires. Henry Robert Stark. Nicholas Allen Stathos. Eric Warren Stevens. Alexander Ryan Stegall. Owen Matthew Straley. William Riley Strathman. Tamsin Ellie Stringer. Bakshwan Su. Sun Chi Fong. Dana Evelyn Swartz. Caroline Claire Sweeney. Kaylee Ann Swintack. Alec Roman Schwartzevich. Grace Sandia John Tabin. Jackie Lynn Tam. Tang Lua Yo-Yo. Alex Teplitz. Riley Elizabeth Terrio. Ava Owens Thomas. Martell Thomas II. Bridget McBride Thompson. Ian McCombs Tolis. Emily Lillian Torkelson. Jane Townsend. Devanshi Trivedi. Quinn Collins Troy. Jasper Moore Tucker. Niharika Tulader. Calvin Marshall Tuttle. Jordan Riley Taviter. Chidabem Franklin Ume.
Can you pass that down? Yes. Thank you.
Jack Charles Valentino. Benjamin William Van Passen. Ari James Van Vuren. Ahai Vang. Rebecca Ross Valls. Sean Vass. Emma Veeden. Dieter Daniel Villegas Hernandez. Joanna K. Volrath. Amelia Phillips Waite. Oliver Y. Koiwan. Christina Wong. Maya Wasserman. Daniel Cameron Waterland. Hannah Sofrina Webster. Catherine Grace Weinberg. James Francis Weir. Alexander Daiki Weissman. Espen Thomas Wheeler. Amari Sakai Williams.
We need you to read us through Ava Thomas. I'll write it down for you.
Dylan M. Williams. Rebecca Daisy Willis. Benjamin Michael Wilson. Jacob Lawrence Ross Winter. Saskia Wong Smith. Caroline Montgomery Wood. Ilul Wu. Kang Jeong. Young Hung. Max Charles Younger. Alexandra Mine Sabin. Hermione Zhao. Tingying Zhu. And Ava Owens Thomas.
Thank you, everyone. And I think it's now time to give our roaring applause to the class of 22. I now ask members of the graduating class to stand, and will the senior marshals please direct the class to move their tassels from right to left, thereby signifying the degree. Yay!
Bates College Class of 2022, on behalf of my fellow alumni in the audience, on the platform, and across the world, I am honored to congratulate you on this momentous accomplishment and welcome you into the Bates College Alumni Association. "21 years ago, I sat where you are today, eagerly awaiting the next chapter, but anxious about leaving the place I called home for the past 4 years, spending a little too long lingering in commons with friends, engaging in conversations with professors on the latest study topic, and filling our schedules with the countless activities on campus became part of daily life. Although your time as a student at Bates is coming to an end, you will be an alum for the rest of your life. As you now maneuver your way through the twists and turns of what's next, you will be faced with challenges, successes, choices, and opportunities. But no matter where life takes you, you will forever be part of an accomplished and dynamic community of over 24,000 Bobcats strong who are embodying our motto of ardor and devotion all over the world and will forever be part of your extended family. I encourage you to stay connected and stay engaged. Actively seek out other alums when possible and connect with those that reach out to you. And always know that wherever you are, there is a Bobcat waiting to hold the door for you. Congratulations.
You may be seated. Following the benediction, I ask the graduates to remain seated and in place until the platform party and the faculty have recessed. The faculty will greet you as you recess. We ask members of the audience to please remain in place just a little bit longer until the recession is concluded. Following the recession, please join us for lunch outside in front of Commons on the Bardwell Field. Just follow the crowd that direction. Thank you.
Please join me in a final word of blessing in whatever manner is at home for you. Holy One, sacred many, let us spend one last slow moment at this threshold to breathe deep, look up at the trees, and simmer in a final moment of transition. Your time at Bates has been anything but what you expected. In your first year, you arrived, suitcases tidy, full of hope and fire, making fast friends, and planting yourself firmly in the fertile ground of learning to become in this place. And then the earth shifted, and you discovered that your roots could hold even as the soil crumbled. For years, you lived in a place of resilience, navigating new norms, trying to affirm a classmate's brilliance on Zoom, worrying about your loved ones at home. The Maine state tree is the eastern white pine tree, known for its resiliency, its determination to grow and protect the forest even in the dead of winter. This pine tree is known to thrive in climates where other plants cannot. So you too, in these years, have swayed in fierce wind, but you have not been broken. You have shed the needles that weighed you down and learned what is essential for growth. And now you are here, a bright morning of celebration on this hallowed quad, surrounded by a garden of loved ones and a bouquet of both good and hard memories. So feel this blessing. Breathe. In this moment of threshold, where the wild edge between ending and beginning is blurred, you are both rooted and reaching. You are here. May you find in this moment a sense of awe in yourself for all you have traversed and found along the way, for the way you have continued to grow and become these last 4 years. May you find in this moment awe in those who carried you, the teachers, mentors, friends, and family who sustained you, held you, and listened deeply, even amidst their own woes and uncertainty. May you find in this moment awe in all that is bigger than you, the knowledge that you've discovered both inside and outside the classroom, the sacred connection of friendships forged in adversity, the holiness seeping through the very leaves under which we sit. In this moment of awe and wonder, may you breathe deep as you prepare to begin again. Feel our collective blessing for your journey ahead, just as you have been and will continue to be a blessing to Bates. It is time to cross the threshold. May it be so. Amen. Congratulations, graduates.